episode of Health Talks with Dr. Trinh. The one show, maybe the only show that tries to make sense out of all the noise and show you a way, simple way, to a healthier life. With the man who abodifies health, walks and talks to health every single day, Dr. Trinh. Welcome, sir. Dr. Trinh, how are you?
I'm not sure I walk and talk health every day.
You don't think you walk and talk health every day? Oh my goodness.
Donuts I eat and all that.
Don't tell us that. Well, we're going to blow the lid today off your reputation. I'm sorry to say it, but I got to call you out on this one here, because your guest this morning, who is another interesting young person that you're bringing on, who is the president of the Tongue Out Club at Universtity High School here in Irvine. You telling me to list his name on the YouTube credits, and so I said, "What's his name?" You said he's Vietnamese, like you are, and you said his name is Joshua Nguyen. I said, "That's how it's spelled, Dr. Trinh, but I've been taught for years now on this station, when you see Nguyen, it's Nguyen. Don't you know how to pronounce Vietnamese names, Dr. Trinh here?"
You are more Vietnamese than I am. It's Nguyen, but yes, you're like totally Vietnamese.
I am. I'm always educating you about Vietnam here. I can't believe it.
Vietnamese community, I suck. What can I say?
I was told years ago that, and maybe Joshua knows this, but in Vietnam, it's a startling percentage. I want to say it's half or a third or something like that of Vietnamese are named Nguyen, because sometime in, I don't know, the Middle Ages, the Middle Kingdom in the middle of the country, there was a wise king, and he was so generous, he said, "I'm going to give everybody my name," and they all adopted it. So Nguyen became, like Park is in South Korea, one of those names that is extremely common in Vietnam. Is that true, Joshua Nguyen?
That sounds about how I read when I searched up why there's so many of us.
Yeah, right. There are just, I don't know if it's half or it's a third. It's a really high percentage.
But it's a good amount of us.
It's a good amount of people who are Vietnamese. Well, welcome to the show, sir, and tell us about how and why you got involved with Tongue Out. First of all, stick your tongue out. Let's see if you can qualify here.
Let me see if it's a good tongue.
All right, that's a good tongue. All right.
Good tongue. Beautiful.
All right. It's good, clean tongue. Why and how? How did you hear about it? Why'd you get involved?
So I first heard about Tongue Out through my dad, actually, who's good friends with Dr. Trinh.
I'm going to mispronounce his name from now on. I'm going to come up with some other way to pronounce his name here, just to be even here.
Fine. You figure out a way. I'll do it with you.
Okay, all right.
So I found Tongue Out through my dad, who's good friends with Dr. Trinh, and I think I've always been interested in missionary work, because when I was really young, my dad used to go on a bunch of trips with Memo and other groups as well, and he'd take me along with him. So missionary trips have always been in my mind. So when he mentioned Tongue Out to me and I went to a meeting, I realized how many other high schoolers were really interested in missionary trips and other work with Tongue Out. When I was at the meeting, I was just kind of surprised. I didn't realize how many high schoolers were into it.
Yeah, right.
I saw it, and I was just like, okay, I want to bring this to my school, because there was definitely no club at my school, and I was just like, this sounds like a great idea to kind of bring to my school.
And how do you bring a club to school? You must be a faculty advisor, and you say, I want to start a club, and then you make an application. And do you have to have more than, is it just you? Do you have to recruit kids first? How does it work to start a club?
So it's funny. At uni, the school is a bit weird. It's a bit competitive.
Uni, this is Universtity High School. It's called here in Irvine. Okay.
But a bit competitive. There's so many kids trying to start a club. There's a whole club commissioner, and they need to sort through the clubs.
Yeah.
And it's a whole process, but you need to have a starting board along with all this paperwork.
Oh my goodness.
Constitution. And I remember remember I got stuck at one point and I had to like interview Dr. Trinh. I was like, Dr. Trinh, I'm stuck at this point. Can you help me?
Yeah, right. Because they don't want to, they don't let any club onto campuses these days. You got to have a whole.
Yeah.
That's got to be a real deal.
Club constitution, membership requirements. Oh, what are you going to do for board? It's a whole process.
All right.
Signatures from teachers.
When did you do this? How long ago?
So I started this, I think, 2 years ago now. This is going to start our third year.
Wow.
I started my, like, I think first semester of sophomore year, and I'm now a senior.
Okay.
Mm.
What do you think, Dr. Trinh? What did you say when you walked in and said, hey, I want to start a club here? Are there any other clubs in any other high schools?
So yeah, there are other clubs now. 2 or 3 other high schools, I think, have reached out to us at this point. They saw what we were doing and they wanted to do similar things, and so they reached out to Dr. Trinh as well after talking to us, and they started their own branch as well. I think at Woodbridge High School, Irvine High School, and I think Northwood. I can't remember on that one.
So what do you think, Dr. Trinh? You gave birth to high school clubs. This is pretty cool. Kids that are focused on missionary work and helping others. That's not what a club is. A club's the chess club, or it's the, I don't know, some crazy club, dance
Dungeons
club.
and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. There's a good club. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I just can imagine the school advisor saying, your club is called Tongue Out?
Yeah, right.
It's always so fun getting to explain it to people.
You guys
It's
do.
always the weirdest look when they first hear it. They're just like,
And do you have like,
what's your club about?
you know, when my dad was young, he was an elk. One of these crazy things in the Midwest. There's elks and there's eagles and there's all these, you know, private fraternal lodges. And to the day he died, my dad would not tell me the secret handshake. I said, I can't tell you the secret handshake. I'm sorry, you're my son, but I can't tell you the secret handshake. Is there a secret handshake? Do you have to stick your tongue out when you start the meeting?
This is the way you start the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how people do the Pledge of Allegiance when they start meetings?
Right. Or is there a secret, you know, if you see somebody in the street, there's a little tongue out, little thing that says, you know, little secret gang
little
symbol
secret.
that says,
Yeah. Stick your tongue out to start the meeting instead of your Pledge of Allegiance.
nothing like that. All right. So what do you guys do? What does the Tongue Out Club do? Because you can't go to Vietnam every week. You can't be a missionary in the school, or what do you do?
So it's definitely more difficult with all the school restrictions in regards to what we can do. But what we've done is a lot of local volunteering. We go to a food pantry. We try to go to a food pantry once a week at the Crossline Food Pantry near the Crossline Church.
Okay.
We
And where is that
help
at? We'll give them a shout. I don't know where Crossline Church is at. What is that, in Irvine too, or?
I need to search it up. I don't remember. I think it
Laguna
is.
Hills.
Laguna Hills.
That
Okay.
sounds right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you go.
So
And I didn't know there's a food pantry there. People in need, they can go pick up food.
Yeah, so there's a food pantry there right on the side, and we go there every Sunday. But I think they're open 7 days a week. But we go there on Sundays because we're all students, and it just tended to work out for us the best on weekends. So we'd all go there Sundays, and we help around 2-3 hours in the morning before they open up, and like right when they open up. And there's a lot of people, and they have adjusted well to COVID. They have a whole system set up, and it's great there.
Have you seen more people? That we keep hearing that they're more hungry these days than ever before because they're laid off and they're at home.
It seems like there's definitely a lot more, and Crossline has adjusted so well to it. Because I think right when this whole COVID pandemic started, we laid off on the volunteering. We thought it'll be over. We were all like everyone else. We were like, it'll be over in 2-3 weeks, and we'd be right back at it, whatever it is, back to normal. And it never did. So after like a month or two, we jumped back on, and they set up a whole new system, and it's amazing. It's a whole drive-through system, pretty contactless. They have you come by, you check in while you're in your car, and you drive by, and they'll have a little kit ready for you to pick up.
So I think while we're talking, Dr. Trinh should put that in the show, in the comments section there. Crossline Church.
Is it a kit of like food?
Yeah, it's mostly food.
Okay.
So it's not
cereal.
It's not
grains,
baby diapers or other blankets or other things like that. It's
no, not that I've seen at least.
Okay. All right, you go volunteer there. All right, that's laudable. What else do you do? I mean, the office of the club meet once a week, once a month.
We do bi-weekly, so every other week.
Okay.
Because it's mostly just club updates on like how I volunteer and whatnot.
Mhm.
So during the COVID pandemic, the club also started another group called Masks for the Masses. And
Masks for the masses. Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
and the goal was to provide masks and other PPEs to those in need. And like besides healthcare workers, we tried to also give aid to groups that usually weren't portrayed on the media. So we sent masks to like Native Americans,
Mm.
senior homes. Well, that was pretty covered, as well as actually prisoners. We realized that
Prisoners. Yes,
they
they
weren't getting a lot of media attention
didn't
either.
they. I may be wrong in this, but I think they had their first death at the Orange County Jail. The Orange County Jail is like the fifth or sixth biggest jail in America. People don't realize how big the jail is there, and obviously they're struggling like everybody else to keep, because you're in confinement.
Everyone's
You're stuck together. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So you brought masks to them. All right. Did you ever, Dr. Who was the lady you had on, Dr. Trinh, who was making masks like crazy out of her house?
Oh, Maggie Holly
Yeah.
was making masks from her group Tumkey project, and so yes, so we have a good number of mask makers. How many masks did you guys make in total, Joshua?
We made a few. We made a few hundred, and that was mostly just students and other sewers who reached out. And we realized we couldn't keep up with the amount of donations we had. We weren't fast enough at sewing as students, so we ended up actually buying like a bulk of disposable masks through a friend of Dr. Trinh.
He knows
Several
everybody.
thousand, and
He knows everybody. Dr.
yep,
Trinh knows
he has
everybody.
all the connections. It's awesome.
He's like that guy in MASH, Radar, who seems to know everything. He's got you need a Lithuanian lug nut. I know somebody that makes those. Yeah, I can find that for you.
More like the Godfather drug lord.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but I don't want to go there. All right, so you're doing all this good work. What's it feel? How many members have you got? Let's just go through the basics. How many kids?
For masks for the masses.
I mean, just
it's
in the
actually-
club. In the club, how many kids in the club?
The club is about 20 or 30 of us,
Okay.
but the Mass for the Masses is actually bigger
Bigger.
because it expanded it was outside of our school,
Mhm.
along with people had more time during the pandemic. And we also had adults helping us as well,
Mm-hmm.
who signed up because we had a whole Facebook set up and everything. And Mass for the Masses, I think the sign up sheet got close to about 100 or something or so like that.
Wow.
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 Did you know how to sew? I really don't know how to sew. I can sort of
I learned how
fumble.
to sew for this. I got a sewing machine. I
Wow.
called my mom over and I watched some videos and I figured out how to sew over the pandemic.
That's the new world. Go watch a video. All right, so you're doing all this good work, and do you ever plan, or have you gone to Vietnam and to other places as actual to join the medical missions that Tongue Out sponsors and puts together? Have you actually been boots on the ground in any of these?
I went with another smaller group of Trins with my club. We went to Tijuana, Mexico to visit an orphanage there and help
Yeah.
out.
That would be wonderful. I would
That was
think.
just a small group of us at school. But no, we haven't done anything. We mentioned going during the summer because that's when most of us would be available, but
Right.
stuff happened. the
Stuff
pandemic,
happened. That's what
and
Dr.
Yeah.
Trim would use a different word, but yeah,
Stuff happens. Called COVID.
COVID. Yeah, a few other little. So, what do you think, Dr. Trent? Tell us what it feels like to have young men like Joshua Nguyen want to
Nguyen.
Nguyen.
Yeah, there you go.
Joshua Nguyen decide to embrace what you're doing and take it to his high school. That's a
Oh, I'm just proud of Joshua and the other students involved. Yeah, we love taking students, especially high schoolers, on our trips. I would say that half of Tongue Out, when we go to Vietnam or Haiti or Peru, I would say that half of our team are high schoolers.
wow,
And,
really.
16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. We've got some 14-year-olds come along, and we love it because we always go to, besides doing the medical stuff. By the way, our high schoolers play a huge role in our medical clinic.
Okay.
They sit up front to do intake. So they're taking down names, ages. They're doing vital signs. We teach them how to do blood pressure and heart rate and all that.
Really? Okay.
And so they're up front, meeting patients for the first time with translators, writing down why they're here, and then they would take the patient to where the physicians are seating.
Right.
And usually when I'm sitting there evaluating a patient, there's usually several students with me. So we go through the differential diagnosis together. We go through the patient's conditions together, and they kind of help me diagnose the patient, and we go through the treatment plan.
So they get to do more than just carry stuff around and.
Oh yeah, and then from there, after the diagnosis, they would take the patients to our pharmacy station, which is just a table set up with a bunch of meds.
Right.
And we have a group of students with the pharmacist handing out the appropriate medication that was, prescribed by the doctor. So our students are in every aspect of our medical flow during the medical clinic. And they learn quite a bit. We have 2 students now in medical school.
Yeah, you mentioned who was the one girl that was on? I forgot her name. She was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to medical school. I don't think she's in yet, but she was going to medical school.
Yeah, she's going to be our 3rd student in medical school, our 3rd tongue out student. We got a good number of students in nursing schools right now, and they got their experience through tongue out, where they
they got a taste of tongue out, and they wanted more. Right.
And now they want to serve in the medical field. But you don't have to know any medicine, or you don't have to go into medicine to enjoy and participate with us, because we do orphanages. Yeah, you can go and play with the kids and just
go to leper colonies. You had a picture up the other day of a leper colony. I'm not going to a leper colony. I'm flying across around the world to go embrace a leper. Are you nuts?
Yes. We're at leprosy colonies every year when we're in Vietnam, and our students love it, and we love it because we get to go hug those who have never been hugged.
Yeah. Oh my God. I honest to God, I don't know whether I could hug a leper. I'd be so frightened of getting it.
I'm gonna get you a T-shirt. Have you hugged your leper today?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
we should have
designed by Jerry Huson of 7 Day Hero, which is, I'm gonna have to bring Jerry on sometime.
Yeah, I never even heard of that.
Yes.
Well, I'm a good Irish Catholic, and Father Damien, the Belgian priest, I think he was, started that famous colony in Hawaii on, I forgot which island it is now. For years and years and years, but he did end up getting leprosy. Now, is leprosy contagious still? Or how do you get, that's the fear. I mean, for generations, lepers were shunned away because people were so frightened they were going to get this thing. And that's why nobody would touch them.
Even during Bible times, patients with leprosy are considered the untouchables.
Yeah, right.
Right. You don't touch them because of that fear of catching it. So leprosy, which is Mycobacterium leprae, the bug is in the same family as tuberculosis.
I didn't know that.
Same family.
And it eats away. I don't even know what it does. Does it eat away at the flesh? Does it eat away at the bones? What is it? Is it a microbe? Or is it like a flesh-eating thing? I don't even know what leprosy is.
It causes neuropathy.
Which is what? What's neuropathy?
Where you no longer feel your hands and your feet. Kind of like diabetic neuropathy, where you lose sensation.
Right.
The number 1 primary cause of amputations in the United States is diabetes.
I've heard that, which is shocking.
So leprosy causes that loss of sensation in your hands and feet. And when you don't feel your feet any longer, or your fingers, it can get infected and you have no clue. And so you don't lose your finger, but your fingers retract. Your fingers retract over time, and it can get infected. You can die from it.
Because I thought they literally fall off or something. That's the image that your fingers
dry gangrene. Dry gangrene from infections that the patient doesn't even feel. So the fingers can fall off, the toes fall off. And that's what we see when we go to leprosy centers. Now, this is 100% treatable if you catch it early.
Hmm.
We have antibiotics that will cure leprosy.
Wow.
99% if you take these antibiotics. But in third world countries, people don't even know what leprosy is to even diagnose it. Right? You have no clue when you're in a third world country living in the highlands of Vietnam, or right? You have no clue until it's late. And
then once it catches hold, you're done. It's in you.
So these patients that live in these leprosy colonies in Vietnam, so the government isolates them because they don't want to see lepers in the community.
Right.
These patients are actually treated, and they get the appropriate antibiotic where they're no longer, transmittable. For at least, 98, 99%, you no longer transmit it. But the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
You've already lost your fingers and legs. That's why when the damage is done, even if you're no longer transmittable, the government still does not want you in the community. So you stay in these colonies until you die.
Fear, yeah.
Out of fear.
People would see somebody and they would run and panic and
Yes.
Throw stones at them. Get out of here. Get away.
So we go and we go to these colonies. The patients have already taken their antibiotics, but they're there for life. And nobody wants to interact with them, touch them, out of that fear. So we go and we hug them. We want to let these folks know that they have value, despite who they are, despite what they can do, despite their degree, their bank account. And of course, these people have nothing.
Yeah.
But God loves them. And because God loves them, we love them. And we take an army of high schoolers there to show them that God loves them.
Joshua, would you go hug a leper? Come on, tell the truth now. Just you and me here. Would you go hug a leper?
Definitely would. I think I'd let Dr. Trinh hug first. Double check
Yes.
if, safe or not.
Smart kid.
If he drops,
You hug him
he
first.
drops right after hugging, I know who I can and can't hug.
Yeah,
So
that
yes,
one I
would.
think I
After
won't
he
hug her.
checks for me.
I applaud you because that is leprosy. Still, I thought it's one of those that's almost gone in the world, but I know it's not gone. Is it? And in fact, I thought that active transmission had stopped. Is it?
No, there are new cases in the world. It's gone in the westernized world.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not gone in the third world.
Okay.
It's not eradicated, unfortunately, because of the lack of resources, the lack of making the diagnosis.
Is there a like polio? Is there a vaccine that you can take against it? No, there's no way to prevent getting this.
There isn't a leprosy vaccine at this point. But we go every year, and we hug patients with leprosy every year just to let
So
them know
did you know this when the kids signed up for the club? Hey, we're going to go hug some lepers? No, come on. Nobody told you that. I didn't see that on the application.
Just a big sign. No.
Yeah. So where are you headed with this, Joshua, and why? This is what intrigues me. We had this girl on who similarly had been on the medical missions. Now, she was interested in medicine. I think that's a natural. You want to get out and help people and see the world, see what's out there. But the majority of these kids are not. I'm assuming, are you going to medical school, Joshua?
I'm
that a
not
plan?
Sure yet. Not sure yet.
Maybe, okay. But I guess here's what shocks me. We live in a world where the popular image of your age group is you're slackers, you're hackers, you're homeschooled, you're not thinking of the world, you're thinking of yourself, you're isolated, you're alone, you're absorbed in your computer games, on your phone. And yet get out in the real world and go help people. That's not the image I have of young people today. And yet, over and over again, I'm reminded that's wrong. What do you say to that? What say you to that? Are the majority of high schoolers there self-absorbed, self-focused, not thinking of the greater good, or is that a media image that needs to be replaced here?
I definitely, that's a little overgeneralization of high schoolers. There are a good amount of us. Well, that's how the club was able to be pulled off. There's a good amount of us that really do want to help. And I think at least those of us in Irvine, I think we can look around and realize how fortunate we are to live in Irvine. And I think we really...
Not the poor part of town. It's not the poor part of town where you guys are going to school.
I think we look at it, we can appreciate it. And I think we realize when you look at the news and all that, how fortunate we are. And I think from there, it's just a focus on giving back and helping others who aren't as fortunate as us.
Okay, you're obviously Vietnamese. What generation, or did your parents come over? Did your grandparents come over? It can't be that long ago.
My parents came over during the war.
Yeah, right.
Or right after. Or
the majority of Vietnamese came here because of they were refugees from the war. Most of them were people that fought with the U.S. and when the U.S. pulled out and gave up, they were left stranded. And so many, the whole boat. I remember vividly images of boat people and the waves of people we left behind who fought so hard not to see the country become a communist country. And when that didn't work out, they flooded to the U.S. And for some reason, I don't know why they settled in Orange County. I don't know that story. I should. I don't know why Little Saigon took hold here in conservative Orange County. I don't know.
I think somebody
From what I
opened up.
know, yeah.
Somebody opened up a pho restaurant,
Is that it?
and that's it. And that's it.
That's it.
Just
You
brought
started-
everybody pho. I had to
like
learn to say
two
pho
pho
too because I love pho, not pho. It's not, but pho.
Not pho? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
No, I got that wrong too.
You got that one wrong too. It says pho on all the signs, but I first 5 times I got my hand slapped for. Give me some of that pho you got there. Some of that pho there. All right. Well, I applaud. I think what shocks me about so many kids that I meet, and I don't meet that many, but some that come on the shows and talk about some of these projects. When I was a kid, to get into college, you just had to have good grades and a good SAT score. Now that's a given. You want to get into UC Irvine? Show me your project. Show me that you cured cancer on your off hours here. Show me that you started an app and built a company. Show me that the competition is
already.
Yeah. Well, okay. He cured cancer, right? He's one of 6 kids that worked on curing cancer, right? We'll consider him here. I mean, the amount of service and the amount of effort you've got to. I had one parent tell me, you don't want to get into Harvard or something anymore. Don't just be a smart kid and get good grades. Oh my God, you've got to have all these extracurricular things. You have to. It's a resume that you built. They're
Every
looking
year,
for.
I think the pool gets more and more competitive, and the colleges get to. They still have the same amount of slots. They always just pick up the top, and every year I think the bar goes
and
up.
the top, these kids are phenomenal. That girl that you had on, she's just casually saying, "Oh yeah, my friends and I are creating an app to measure responses." I think in autism. Kids with autism. Here's an app you can just like ho hum, like, oh yeah, last week we were going to play baseball and we decided now let's build an app and for autistic kids. And Dr. Trinh and I were sitting around flipping bottle caps or whatever. That was our big
Video games.
Video games. I'm too old and I even remember video games. We didn't have video games. We just hung around and went, what should we do today? I don't know. That was our favorite response. I don't know. Well, go ahead.
Joshua is an example of and is a great example of many of our kids in Tongue Out. And what we strive to do with Tongue Out is that the world, when the world looks at leadership, right? When the world looks at leadership, we look at somebody who is, at the top of their food chain, somebody who's powerful, wealthy, rich, and somebody who orders a lot of people around. Is how leadership works in the world.
Right.
We strive in our organization to create leaders, but the leaders we want to create are not leaders who bark orders, who take advantage of power and influence. Mm-hmm. The leaders we want to create in Joshua and many of our students is we want to create leaders who are servants, leaders who lead by serving.
That was that's the Christian ideal, the servant leader.
Yes, the servant leader, and we want to create an army of servant leaders. And through that army, right? Through the students at the Tongue Out Club at Uni High or at Irvine High School or at Woodbridge High School. We want to create an army of leaders that serve, not an army of leaders that bark orders, that lord it over others. But we want to create this new army of leaders that lead through serving, lead through loving, and lead through caring for the least of these in our society.
That's
Right?
that's not the image of today. It's all about me. Look what I've got. Look what I can do. I have power. I have influence, and I use it to wield that over other. That is my demonstration. Kneel before the king. Bow before my celebrity. Get what I want at the expense of others. That's what I see in the whole media, from politicians to athletes to celebrities. It's not generally the message of, it doesn't start with think of others. It starts with think of me.
That's correct. And that's not the leadership that we want to create in our organization. And Joshua, we are proud of you. He leads by serving, right? Didn't you guys do something with the flu clinic lately?
Yeah, we also recently did a flu clinic, I think 2 or 3 times within like the last month or so. Not many of the seniors were able to go because we're all still writing apps, but we sent like a whole mob of like freshmen and sophomores to go help out there. I think last time they were helping packets like information bags and whatnot for those who came by and got the shot.
That was at the Anaheim Convention Center? Or
the 360 clinic, I think.
Yeah, the 360 clinic. Yes. That's right. That's awesome.
So what's it make you feel like? Tell me a story of what you've seen, Joshua. Tell me, or somebody's tale. Tell me how this has changed you or influenced you. If I asked you to tell me one story that you've seen, don't tell me about the need. Tell me the needy. Tell me what you've seen when you've been out there.
So I think one of the first few experiences we had was pretty impactful. I've actually talked to a few of my current board now about when we first started at the food pantry before pandemic and all that. When there was less people, we'd go out to each of their cars and we took out the food. There wasn't a whole system, so you just picked up the food at the center, you selected it, and we walked it out to your car with you.
Right.
And in the beginning, the first few times we went, there'd be another adult who went with us, and she would ask them how they're doing, what they're going through, and at the end she'd pray for them. And I think regardless of what religion they are, we held hands there, which would not have been COVID safe now, but we held hands, and I think they talked about, the hardships they're going through and whatnot. And I think it was really different, at least for most of us, in terms of like our everyday life, to see someone so vulnerable with us talk about what they're struggling with. They'd be talking about, oh, relative just passed away, or oh, my husband got deported. And I think just seeing so many things that people have to deal with every day compared to us. I'm not downplaying what my friends go through, but I think realizing that we're so fortunate compared to others, and so many people have to not only face but have to overcome so many struggles every day. It's such a
One of the things I've always said that makes homelessness such a difficult problem to handle is that, particularly here in Southern California, where we don't have, other than the buildings in Santa Ana where all the government buildings are, we don't have collections of a downtown. We don't have a place where you drive in and see people lining the streets like maybe you would in downtown, even LA or something here. And even there, they're in the alleyways, they're in the backways. Here, the homeless are down in the riverbeds, which I don't see as I drive down the freeway. The riverbed's over there and down. I don't walk over and look down into the riverbed. I don't look down into the storm drains behind the shopping centers. I don't look behind the buildings where they live or in the bushes. And so to me, they're largely invisible. I choose not to it's easy not to see them, and I choose not to see them, I guess. And so you're taking a choice to open your eyes and go out and see what is not, You walked up and down Irving, I don't see homeless people
Yeah,
everywhere.
especially in Irvine, homelessness is not a thing here because I don't know what policy set up, but I think they all actually get picked up by the police and get asked to
They
leave or
do.
shipped
They
out
deny
somewhere.
it, but they do. They move them out of the way because
They
they're a
move 'em out of the
nuisance. They're a
way.
fear.
So
They're
it really, we have the opportunity we have the privilege really not to think about the hardships others go through.
right.
But
Same
I
with
think it's
COVID.
one of those, I think it's one of those things that we shouldn't ignore, and we need to, try to reach out and try to help others.
And we've talked about it on the show a great deal, where I think that's part of the problem when we've had these COVID forums and we get hundreds of people come in and say, is it big? Is it real? Is it there? The problem is, right now I'm going to look around, I don't see any COVID. I open my door, I stick my head out the door, I don't see any COVID. I don't see black smoke rising up. I don't see people dying on the street. It's an invisible thing. My neighbor might be suffering from it, but I don't know. I didn't go over and knock on his door. It's something we're doing alone, isolated, at home, by ourselves. So it's invisible to us, and it's easy to think, it's not that big, come on. I don't see it. Where is this COVID? Where is this homelessness? There's all this stuff here. I don't see this. Where's this leprosy? There's no leprosy around here. I think it's easy to fool yourself into thinking because I don't see it and I don't experience it, particularly if you live in these nice little suburbs like I live in, you live in. It's easy to fool yourself that it ain't there.
Yeah. And I think in general, we kind of see throughout America, we need to maybe build like a stronger sense of community. Because I think definitely you see a lot of people, they might even admit that there's some people that deny COVID, but I mean, even out of those who admit that it does exist, they choose not to wear a mask out of purely comfort. And I think that kind of points out to like maybe needing a stronger sense of community and like empathy towards others. Because a lot of my age and my college students, they'll be like, but there's a 99% survival rate or 99.6.
Right. So what's the big deal?
And they'll go around bragging that. They're like, why are you even talking to me? This is not even a problem. If I die, that's because I'm weak. That's my fault. I hear that all the time.
Right, there you go. That's interesting.
And I think it isn't like you mentioned about the homeless people, and isn't like the first thing that comes to mind because you don't see it everywhere. I think COVID isn't really other people isn't what comes to mind because they're not seeing the fact that whoever they might possibly infect without knowing maybe takes it home to their grandparents or something. And
Yep.
I don't know anybody personally, but I know my dad has a lot of colleagues at work who have either caught it or their kids caught it and gave it to them. And I think it's definitely a hard story listening to like who's lost family members or even just like,
so let's talk about that, and I appreciate your perspective on it. Let's put a few facts out there today. We're doing this the day before Christmas, and it is so quiet out there. Not even a mouse was stirring as the Christmas story goes. All the stockings were stuffed and everything here. California today became the first state in the nation to record 2 million coronavirus cases. Lucky us. California hospitals, I don't have the correct number in front of me, but they're close to zero capacity in the ICUs, effectively at zero, where you show up in an emergency, you got a heart attack, you're in a car crash, you show up, the ambulance pulls up, no room at the inn, as the other part of the Christmas tale goes. No part at the inn, no room at the inn here. Go live in a manger. And if you're not impacted by that, if you don't have to go through it, it's easy to believe that's not true.
Yes, until you show up to the ER.
Yeah.
And you realize there isn't a bed for you.
Mhm.
And that's what we are seeing these days is that
So tomorrow is Christmas. What are you all doing for Christmas? I'm really torn. I'm going to go see my daughter and my grandson that little bit. We've decided to do that because we see my grandson every weekend and we would babysit for him. We kind of think, all right, we'll take that chance, but just that immediate little group. There's no other extended people coming. And I may or may not even wear a mask when I'm there. Everybody laughs at me when I do, but I'm of the age I should think about it. I am a good Irish Catholic. I may not go to Mass for the first time in my life on Christmas. I'm not sure, even though they have outdoor Masses. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm debating whether to do that or to say, no, come on. And so we're all going to gather in some sense. We're going to come out of our homes. We're going to go to church. We're going to go eat. We're going to go with family. And it's going to go up, just like it did at Christmas. We know that. and yet we're already at record numbers. Are we going to break those record numbers in the next couple of weeks?
We're gonna break. It's already records. We already have no beds. We're gonna break the record numbers. Which is why we're setting up tents outside the hospitals.
I hear that over and over again.
With additional beds.
Yeah, you're going to be stuck in a tent somewhere, a field hospital. It's going to look like an Army MASH unit, mobile Army, surgical hospitals or whatever that stands for. You're going to have MASH units, yeah.
We're starting to accept patients next week, actually, at Fairview Developmental Center.
Yes, that was the Alzheimer's Association.
Alzheimer's Orange County COVID center. We have 50 beds. We're gonna be taking care of older patients with some dementia along with COVID.
So you can get them out of the environment they won't infect others, because many of them are in nursing homes or long-term health facilities. You're going to get them out of there, so maybe they won't infect anybody. Get them off the hospital system so they're not filling up beds.
That's right. They're going to hang out at the Fairview Developmental Center. We have a team there where they're doing training this week. We're ready to go live.
Fairview, for those who don't know, was a mental health facility. I think it was owned by the state.
Yeah, owned by the state. Shuttered. It was shuttered for a while, but
because I'm old enough to remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and those movies. They used to have lots of these facilities, and people thought they were kind of horrible. They were bedlam. They just put mad people in there, and they wandered around enclosed. I mean, they said that can't be so, and it was expensive, and it was people thought it was kind of cruel. I don't know what else you do with people that are mentally unstable. And instead, in the 70s and 80s, we started releasing it back in the general population. And that's a large part of the homeless population, or a significant part. I don't know if it's a large part, but a significant part are people that otherwise, years ago when I was a kid, would be locked up in mental health facilities. We don't have them. We don't want to pay for them. We don't want to do that anymore for good reasons and bad reasons. And so there are facilities like Fairview all over the country that sit empty, and they're using those now for COVID patients as they reopen those.
Crazy times. What does it feel like, Joshua? Are you guys still in class physically, or are you all on Zoom now, or what's going on with school?
So or at least Irvine Unified has set up the system where you can sign up to be either part of IVA. I forgot what that stands for, but that's pretty much just completely online school. They pulled a bunch of IUSD teachers. It's not specific to schools anymore. I heard from a friend, like, you don't technically even attend uni anymore. You attend IVA, and that is just online school, everything. Or you can still choose to go in on some of these school districts. You can choose to sign up for what's considered hybrid,
right?
Where it's online one day, in person the other day, online. And the point was to kind of split it up, so there's only half of us there at a time,
right? And because not every kid can stay home. The parents are both working. Who gets to stay home with little Jimmy here today?
Right.
And I mean, it was actually online for the first month or two of school, and then things let up and we came back to school. But now that we've hit purple again, the schools don't have to close down. So there's a bit of unrest between the teachers and the students right now.
Right.
Because I think both the teachers and the students actually want to go online, at least for the next month or two, with how bad cases have been getting.
And what do you think? I watch my grandson. He's only in first grade, and we have to go through him. We babysit him. I really applaud the teachers for trying, but it's pretty piss poor. I'm sorry to say. These kids aren't watching. They're paying. It's only an hour or two a day. It's not all day. How long can they stare at a screen? And more of the learning seems to be, let's keep them engaged. We'll make it like a video game so they'll want to stay on the screen, rather than what I picture school. You listen, I'm going to teach you something here today. It's hard to get somebody to just sit and listen to that. I don't know what it's like at higher grades, but
I definitely think all these times I definitely think it depends on grade level as well. But I think a lot of it comes down to maturity. I think if you didn't want to pay attention while you were in person, you were going to do it either way. And I think doing it at home has just allowed more opportunity. If you don't want to listen, now is the time. You can get away with whatever you want. You can just watch YouTube while you're in class with your headphones in. No one will ever know.
And you can be texting. You can be talking.
There's
And
so many more options.
are they going to, I feel like it's a lost year. I think I question, I don't know what else they could do. I'm not advocating that they bring all the kids back. I get it. And not just for the kids who have a high percentage, like you said, of survival rate. We don't know the long-term effects, as Dr. Trinh keeps saying. There could be other residual effects that we haven't tracked yet. Oh, we didn't know that you're still going to have fatigue for a long time. And the teachers. And they're infecting each other and bringing it home. Yeah, all these reasons. I know the kids themselves are not at as high a risk as I am, but they're at risk of infecting others, including the teachers and everybody else that's there. I get it, but I wonder if it isn't just a lost year and that the quality of education hasn't gone down dramatically. Do you think you're still learning as good? And now that's my opinion. So you tell me your opinion. You're living it. I'm just
I
guessing.
think it depends on how people are adapting to it. I think I have certain friends that always, it is asking us to be more independent. We're getting less face-to-face time. With especially how the teachers adapted, it seems kind of like we only see them once a week, and we see them because really the teachers want to focus on the kids who are there. They're like, if we're all going to risk it, might as well I focus on the people who are in person.
Right.
That's become the new trend for most of my classes, which is now kind of become, we talk to our teacher once a week pretty much. And we just do the in-person activity stuff, whatever it takes. And
so
I think
it's all independent study then. Does this open the door? Does it open the door to Khan Academy in places? I don't know if you're all familiar with Khan Academy, but this idea of his whole thesis is get rid of all schools, period. Let's just everybody learn online. We'll have the professors and the teachers and everything. You have all the lectures from Harvard all the way down to grade school or middle school or wherever he wants to start. And you just learn at your own pace, whether you're in a village in Africa or in Irvine in a beautiful home. It's up to you to seek out education and do something with it. We're not going to wrap your knuckles like the nuns used to do for us if we weren't paying attention. Stop it.
I think I definitely do enjoy the live aspect of what we have in person as well as online. Because number one, it does feel a little bit more interactive knowing that that person is there doing it at the moment, as well as the fact that you can ask questions in the moment. Because I think definitely when I'm last minute cram studying and I get stuck on a concept, yeah, Khan Academy can help, but if it doesn't answer that one specific question, you're kind of stuck. You can't just raise your hand or ask a question.
See, he knew what Khan Academy. Do you know what Khan Academy is, Dr. Trinh? Have you heard of Khan Academy?
I do. Yeah,
you're all in.
A good student, but yes, I heard about it.
See, there you go. This guy's mission is to put all quality education online, because he thinks it'll open it up to the world. You know, you don't have, kids in Africa can learn. Kids in the highlands in Vietnam can learn if they've got because they've got internet access nearly everywhere. It seems like these days.
Right.
You go to
but we do. Yeah, I love online learning. I love independence learning. There is a aspect of learning though that that is missed when it's online. You don't get to socialize and interact with your peers who are in class with you. A lot of learning and education is just growing up and learning how to grow up and learning how to interact with others.
And how do you get hands-on? Not all learning is book learning. If I want to become a doctor, sooner or later I got to cut open a patient. And can I do that at home watching? Let's see, do I cut this over here? Hang on, I'm trying to get this down here. You know, wait. Hang on, Mom. I'm trying to cut your hand open.
I have a few friends who are taking anatomy class, and I think they just have to. Well, I did hear for my friend, she's just doing it online. There's just like a little game that they play. I remember seeing online some schools are actually shipping a container of like body parts that won't perish, not people, but like animals and whatnot, and they'll ship it to your door, and you just keep it in your garage or something.
Yeah, keep it in the fridge and slice it open.
And you take it out and you cut it up accordingly in class.
Really?
Mom,
yeah, I remember this being on the news.
Mom, what happened to those body parts? Oh, Dad ate them last night. He didn't know. He thought it was food.
Hey, Paul, let me teach you online learning with medicine.
Okay.
Okay, go like this.
Go like this.
Prostate exam. Just go like that.
Ow!
Not that hard, Paul.
Not that hard.
Not that hard, right? Prostate exams.
Okay.
Pretty easy. Not that hard.
I'll practice that all day today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How do I know when I've passed? All right, when something passes. Well, it's very difficult days we live through. I applaud you, Joshua Nguyen, for taking this on, for bringing it to others, and for being a light in the world that's very dark right now at Christmas. You know, Christmas Tale is all about a few wise men following a star. I think you're following a star, too. He's sitting over there, Dr. Trinh.
All right.
Yep. Thank you to Dr. Trinh for offering all these opportunities, helping me kind of find what I want to do in my free time.
Not at all. Thank you for being a servant leader.
Yes, because that really is what I wish we had more of those, and I think you're training a new generation, Dr. Trinh and others, of children who are going to change the world in ways we didn't think possible, because they started young. Most of us, I wasn't trying to. How old are you? You must be, what, 17, 18 or something?
I'm 17. I'm turning 18 tomorrow.
Okay, so 18 tomorrow. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Tomorrow's your birthday?
Wow, how cool is that?
Wait, you are a Christmas child? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Boy, that really brings the Christmas. That's why you brought him on. I thought that's why you brought him on, because he's a Christmas baby here. He's a Christmas gift.
Here, in light of our Christmas holiday, I want to show you a picture. The meaning of Christmas, and guess what? They are not wearing a mask. Not good.
Not good.
They're not wearing a
not
mask.
Social distancing either.
Yeah, not social distancing. Yeah, but they're in their bubble, so they're fine.
They're okay. They are.
Whatever. Yeah.
Those were different times, Dr. Trinh. We're adapted to different things here.
Different virus back then.
Different virus back then, exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for the work you do. Keep going. Keep us informed. Tell us along the way your journey, because we're all on a journey together, and we're on a journey in this world I'd have never seen before. We've never been there. So for you, it's new because you're young. For us, it's new because we've never seen this. These are unparalleled times, and they need a new type of leader, a new type of person to help us through this, to guide us, to be the star that shows the way. Thank you very much for coming on today here.
Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts, for having me. Thanks, Dr. Trinh, for inviting me.
Thank you. And how to tongue out? Where do we go find tongue out?
Just
stick our
stick your
tongue
out.
I can't see it though. It doesn't come out far enough.
Yeah. That's why you're not in the club. I'm just kidding.
If I could stick my tongue out further, I could be in the club. I can't see my tongue.
There you go.
What is it? Is there a website, or is there a page? Is there any place we can?
It's just tongueout.org.
Tongueout.org. Tongueout.org. Find out about the good work that Dr. Trinh and others are doing, and how it's spreading to campuses here in Orange County, like Universtity High School, and Joshua Nguyen and his friends and compatriots over there. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joshua.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You've been listening to another great example of why you should tune in each and every week. Each and every week we talk about this kind of stuff right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OCTalkRadio.net.